Hey everybody, Mr. Traveler here, and it's so glad to see you guys and talk to you guys today. Real quick guys, we wanted to bring you out some information that Norwegian just put out. It's what they're calling Norwegian's Peace of Mind, and I think that this will be a good example of some of the things that we'll see not only from Norwegian but from the other major cruise lines going forward as we try to get back to some sort of normalcy here in the cruise world. So we'll kind of go through some of the protocols that they're talking about that guests can expect once we return to cruising. And again, I think that these will be very similar across all cruise lines. It seems to be a very common sense approach to keeping people safe. So let's talk about it. Alright, so first of all will be the enhanced screening protocols. What it says is that all guests and crew will undergo an extensive pre-embarkation health screening. There will be touchless temperature checks and continuous monitoring of guests and crew throughout your voyage. So this will be very similar to what we went through with the Meraviglia before we really got into this COVID event. When we were on there, we got our temperature checked before we boarded the ship, and then each and every time we got off of the port and got back on the ship, we did a temperature check at that point. So I assume that it's going to be something very similar to that as far as when you're getting on and off the ship. That'll be a pretty good gauge for them throughout the course of the voyage to see if you're experiencing any high temperatures. Okay, so the next one's pretty cool, and this is one that we hadn't predicted, and it's the all-new air filtration system that they're going to employ throughout their fleet on Norwegian. What it says is that the installation of medical-grade air filters, H13 HEPA, that will remove 99.95% of all airborne pathogens across our entire fleet to ensure the air you breathe is clean. So that's very exciting news. That's something that I hadn't really thought of when we kind of discussed what our ideas were for the future of cruising. But that's very good news. They're putting up HEPA filters throughout all these cruise ships that help filter the air, help keep you safe. Next is going to be responsible social distancing. To provide more space and reasonable social distancing, guest capacity on board will be reduced. Staggered embarkation and check-in process will be implemented for proper social distancing. In addition, we are committed to reducing capacity in all public areas. So this is something that we talked about before, is that they're going to kind of limit the number of passengers on there. Don't know exactly yet what those percentages will be. Could be 50% of sailing capacity, could be up to 70-75% of sailing capacity. We just don't know what that particular number is going to be right now, but obviously it's going to be a goal to reduce the number of people that you come in contact with. Again, like they said, staggered embarkation time, so you probably can expect to have your ship debark from the port maybe a little bit later is what I'm thinking, to offer greater flexibility for time for people to get on board the ship. And it won't be as many people on the ship, so it won't necessarily take as long. What'll be interesting is what they're saying about keeping people apart during the course of the ship. So I don't know what that means for the entertainment. So are we going to have sectioned off spots in the theater? Just what exactly is that going to mean? Are they going to stagger the pool chairs apart around the pool? Will the pools be open? You know, we just went to a resort last weekend for the holiday weekend, and the pools there at all the hotels were open. So that kind of surprised me that they were open. We didn't get in them at the time. We were at the beach, so we got in the ocean. But, you know, that begs the question, will the pools and will the spas and the whirlpools and those kind of things be open? So that will be left to be seen. They are committed to having some type of social distancing policy. Next, they're talking about enhanced medical resources. Onboard medical centers will be fully equipped with the latest testing kits and medical supplies, including onboard testing for COVID-19. We're increasing our medical team fleet-wide, and we're adding new dedicated public health officer on every ship. All right, so that's good news. And that's kind of something that we considered that was going to happen on the ship, that we're going to actually have the COVID testing on there. I would expect that, especially with the reduced capacity on the ship, they're going to reserve a section of the cabins on board the ship to be quarantine cabins, just in case somebody does contract or comes on board with a positive COVID-19 test. I would imagine they would immediately quarantine those people into special cabins. But good to hear, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the COVID testing and that will be free of charge on board the ship for the purposes of public safety. So don't know that yet, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume that that's going to be the case. But good to see that they're actually putting these extra precautions in. And lastly, they're talking about extended ship-to-shore safety. We're partnering with our local destinations and tour operators to ensure our industry-leading health and sanitation protocols extend to the shoreside experience. We will only visit safe, open ports of call, which may cause changes to your itinerary. Keeping our guests up to date with the latest confirmed changes impacting their itineraries is our top priority. So yeah, that'll be very interesting to see how they do it. We are starting to see some of the Caribbean islands open, but they're opening with some protocols in place. So I saw that Jamaica is starting to open up. We saw that St. Lucia is starting to open up. Many of the Mexican ports are beginning to open up. So we're seeing these islands open up, but of course they're going to have their protocols on there, and I'm sure they're going to be, as noted with Norwegian, they'll be working hand in hand with the cruise lines to see how they want to handle the passengers coming on board. I'm sure they'll probably have to deal with them confirming that they've tested everybody on board, as far as the temperature checks and everything, and there were no high temperatures or anything like that. And so then they'll allow the ship to come on board. And then if there are high temperatures, we can probably expect to see what we saw pre the big COVID push when we were still sailing, where some of the ports actually pushed away the cruise ship and said, no, you can't come in. So I would imagine if they have a positive case, or maybe even a potentially positive case, they may not allow the ship and the passengers to debark on their port. So I think it's going to be very interesting. So I'm thankful that Norwegian put this list out today, and I think this is going to be very representative of what you see from the other major cruise lines with regard to the protocols going forward. What's going to be interesting, again, like we've talked many times, Royal Caribbean's kind of reversed their position on the no buffets thing that we saw. So it'll be interesting to see how they go through with that. I'm still kind of of the opinion that they're just going to have the crew members serve you the buffet. So you walk up and say, hey, I like some of that ham and those scalloped potatoes. They do it for you. I kind of have a feeling it's going to be that way. But of course, these are just the beginning actions for us to get back to safely sailing at sea. Say that 5 times fast. And there'll be many other things that we have to go through and figure out how we're going to do safely until we get some kind of a vaccine or whatever goes on with this virus. There's a lot more things that are going to be in place, but this is a great start. I love that they put this out there. That means they're really getting their wheels spinning, getting this thing going. So I'm glad to hear it. I know you guys are ready to get back out there on the high seas as we are. So
we are ready.
And let's get it done safely, guys. All right, everybody. So we'd like to thank you so much for watching. If you have not done so, please like, share, and subscribe. Recommend us to your family and your friends. This is the greatest compliment that you can pay us. We love to share this information with you and just share information about cruising and traveling in general, to get out there and explore this great big place we call Earth, our home that we share together. So you can reach us at 877-697-4470 or online at www.mr-traveler.com. And we'd like to thank you so much for watching, guys. Life's short.
Have fun.
See the world.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.